What's going on, guys? This is Tatsumi and I'm coming to you with an updated deck profile today. And today I want to show you guys my new build for UAs. Doing a lot of testing with this deck. I've done so many different builds of just testing and trying to see what works out. But finally I've just kind of landed on this, and I feel like it's the most consistent in terms of what I wanted to do. And I'll be happy to show you guys some combos at the end of the video. So let's just get into it. So first, we're playing for the UA's 3 midfielder. It's the most consistent normal summon of the deck. This is the one you're going to be normal summoning all the time. This is what, like, basically for your normal summon, this is what you want to commit it to the majority of the time. You can use it for other things such as rebounder, but to start the game off, you need midfielder in your hand basically as soon as possible. Next, 2 slugger. It just works. 2 slugger works. I don't think that you should be playing 1. I see a lot of people play 1. It's never enough. I think you need 2. So yeah, and he's just a good attacker. Next, 2 ace. This is probably your best defensive UA monster in the deck. It's a free negate on anything. It's just really, really powerful. It gets cards out of your hand that you want in the grave. Yeah, just really good. Next, 2 UA rival rebounder. This is your second best normal summon. The longer the game goes, the better this card gets. You tribute over anything, and you get to bring back UA from your graveyard. It just lets you continue some plays. It's a great extender in that one as well. 1 goalkeeper. I have gone back and forth on this card about whether or not I want to play it, but I just kind of decided that Beatrice was just way too good of a card to like. It's like Beatrice is just way too good of a card that you have to play it, and that's literally why I'm playing goalkeeper. His non-destruction effect, he can prevent destruction of a UA card once per turn on your opponent's turn. It just really doesn't come up. You're just using him as a level 6, and that's about it, or as a warrior, which I'll get to when we get to the extra deck and why that's important. Next, for your level 7s, we're playing 1 Dreadnought Dunker and 1 Blockbacker. This is actually really relevant. You want to play both of these because level 7 is really, really powerful in this deck. If you can get both these out in the field, you're just gonna go ham. It's not even funny. Like, these guys are so much better now in the deck than they were before. Next, for some support, we're playing 3 Spell Striker. This card is amazing. Like, it does so many things that the UA deck wants to do right now. I think I've said multiple times that UA has, like, been designed to be a link deck out of anything else just because of how easily you can just put monsters on the board. Spell Striker just kind of helps with that. It's very easy to get spells into the graveyard, and being able to summon this to use it as tribute fodder, to use it if you open up multiples, you can make it a X-Saber Invoker, and that can help you extend. Yeah, the card's just ridiculous. And just does everything you want it to. Next, we're playing a small engine here. We're playing 2 Performance Hat Tricker and 1 Damage Juggler. I'm so happy that Juggler is back at 1. I've been saying it's needed to go back to 1 for a long time, and it just does what the deck wants to do. Not only that, it's also Spellcaster Earth Monster, which is relevant, and that does come up every once in a while to make some links. So yeah, Hat Tricker is just amazing, and it's very good defense against things like Trickstar, because you can just make them deal you damage, and then it becomes a 3300 beat stick, and they can't do anything about it. Next, we're playing 1 Grinder Golem. This was a weird ad for me at first, and then as the deck came on, it's like, if you open it, if you open this card, you're just going in. It's just ridiculous at generating tokens and just being able to extend your plays. And not only that, it feeds into a part of your win condition, which is using UA Power Jersey, which I do play again, and just getting so much damage on board. It just really, really helps. So Grinder Golem, just really great. For the last monster, we're playing 1 Global. You should be playing this card. We're definitely in a very spell-heavy format at the moment, and being able to have access to Maturity Beast is really good. On top of that, it's an Earth Tuner, and everything but Grinder Golem in your main deck is an Earth monster, so you do have access to things like Maturity Beast, which is really, really powerful. So Global is really strong. For the spells, we're playing 3 UA Stadium. You want to see this as soon as possible, and I guess to just kind of go along with that, we're playing 1 Terraforming. You only need 1 Terraforming for UA Stadium just because we play Foolish Burial Goods, so you can technically search it through that, but if you open up Terraforming and Foolish Burial Goods, you don't really have to choose for what you want. You can just search the stadium and then you go for your signing deal. So 1 Terraforming does help in that regard. You could cut it if you don't want it though, but I like having that. 3 signing deal, as mentioned before, this is probably your best UA spell. I think really it's a ridiculous card. It's like, it just gets what you want in the deck, and you don't care that the effects are negated and it can't be used for Synchro or Xyz material because you'll probably be using it for Link material, or you'll be doing your usual UA stuff and just bouncing things back so you can get monsters on the board. Yeah, it's just a really good card. Finally, 1 UA Power Jersey. The card's searchable. You only need 1. You can easily return it back to your hand. It's not that bad. 3 Foolish Burial Goods. This is just a really good card for the deck. You get to dump the trap, get a search. It's just powerful. 2 Pot of Desires. You only need 2. This is a 41 card deck, I believe. It's 42 or 41. 2 is enough. Now for a bit of a tech that I've been testing out for a while. This card is interesting, but it does a lot of what you want to do in the deck, and I'll explain why I'm choosing this over Scapegoat, because I was playing Scapegoat and testing for a while, but this deck, the way that it works is that Scapegoat, if you're going first, yeah, it's a great defensive card, but you really just want to kind of turbo off and make a lot of Link summons and then just kind of stop when you need to. Scapegoat prevents you from summoning the turn you activate it, and then it's also bad going second, because it's just another dead card in your hand, in terms of that. Yes, it's great after turn 1 and turn 2, but past that, it's not amazing. So I decided to go with 2 copies of One-Time Passcode. Again, Scapegoat just isn't good in this deck. I just don't like it. It's just consistently been a dead card. This, on the other hand, doesn't have a summoning restriction. It gives you a token. It's easy spell fodder for your Spell Striker, so you can just activate this, get a token, make Link Spider, send your banish this, and then special summon a Spell Striker from your hand. It's just really, really powerful in that regard, and just helps you extend a little more. It's worked in so many scenarios that I played. If you open this and a couple Spell Strikers, you're going ham. So I just like this and the things that it does for the deck. For one-ofs, we're playing 1 Foolish Burial because it gets stuff into the graveyard, 1 Monster Reborn because who doesn't like to bring things back from the grave, Soul Charge, same reason, and just lets you kind of go off, and then 1 Rhoda because you get to search Spell Striker. Like, I honestly search Spell Striker more than I search UA Midfielder. You can there's multiple ways to get Midfielder out of the deck into your hand way more consistently than through, and way more different ways than Spell Striker, so typically I'll just activate Rhoda, search Spell Striker, and then special summon Spell Striker and just go off. So it's just really, really good for that. Finally, for the last 2 cards, we're playing 2 UA Penalty Box. I don't think I need to explain this. If you open 1, it's not terrible because it's a battle trap that's actually pretty nice. You get to banish your opponent's monster for a couple turns, get rid of a problem, and then if it's in the graveyard, you just banish it, get a search. It's just really powerful. You don't want to play 3 because I can't tell you how many times I've opened multiples of this while playing 3. It's just so bad. So yeah, 2 just works perfectly. Now on to the extra deck. We are playing for Link 1s, 1 Link Kuriboh and 1 Link Spider. You could play 2 Link Spider if you don't have Link Kuriboh. I play Link Kuriboh because I have it. It just works really well. You make it through through Glow Bulb, and that's typically when you're going to play it. Yes, you're like, oh, you're not playing Scapegoat? Why are you playing Link Kuriboh? Because you can make Link Kuriboh. It's just good. You can also make it using your Grinder Golems, so you can do your plays with that. And to kind of go along with this, we're playing 1 Akashic Magician because it does what you like your deck to do. It makes you turbo off, it makes you get just pluses. It's just really, really good. For the rest of the Link 2s, we're playing 1 Isolde. It gets you a search for literally any UA monster in your deck. Why would you not play this? I almost wanted to play 2 of this, but decided to go for a Mrs. Radiant instead. You actually do need this because Mrs. Radiant is an Earth Beast monster, which you're not playing of anywhere else in the deck, and it just allows you to go into your Curious plays and just kind of turbo off if you really need to. 1 Kleavor Genius, we're playing particular little rank 7 in the deck, and Kleavor Genius just helps you. It's also an Earth machine monster, so if you've already made Saryuja, you can go into Curious as well with this, so that's a really cool thing to do. And then finally, to round out the Link 2s, 1 Proxy Dragon. I probably go into this the least. It's just an extender if you really need it, and if you have spare tokens on the field. It comes up, and every once in a while, probably one in every like 4 or 5 games. So Proxy Dragon comes up enough, and that's why I play it. For the 1 Link 3 that we play the 1 Curious. It's Lavable Chain. It just extends. You don't ever want to go into this turn 1. If you can go into Saryuja, over this, just because it just does more. Curious doesn't do quite as much. Yes, you can recycle a card. Yes, you get to send a card to the graveyard, and technically that helps the base UA strategy, but really what you want to do is just spam a ton of monsters in the field, and Curious doesn't really do that in this deck anyway. So Curious is great, just not on turn 1. It's just an extender for later in the game, and that's why we play it. For the Link 4s, we're playing 1 Borreload, 1 Topologic. This is for going second, and then this is a proxy, but this should be a Saryuja. I have one coming in the mail, and I haven't gotten it yet, but I wanted to make this deck profile for you guys. Borreload's just really powerful. You can make it, this is, again, if you haven't used, your Grinder Golem turn 1, you can at least make Borreload, or you just can, go into something. This is a great way to do it. Topologic, again, if you open this and a way to get into, if you open the Grinder Golem combo, going second, and then you're able to get your Dunker and Jersey, it's an OTK. Yeah, Bomber's just nuts. And then Saryuja, this is basically the card that you go into turn 1. Even turn 2, I've gone into this just so I can just get a ton of presence on the board. Saryuja's just so good, and he just lets you extend. So that's it for the Link 4s. For the 1 Synchro we want to play 1 Nichiri Beast. I really wanted to play Omega. I really wanted to play Ancient Fairy Dragon. I really wanted to play start as Charge Warrior. The problem is room. You don't have enough space in the extra deck for them, and you don't really go into them that consistently. Nichiri Beast is the only one that you really want to make the majority of the time with Glow Up Bulb, so that's the only synchro that I'm playing. It's just really tight in terms of space. For the Xyz, we're playing 3, 1 MX Saber Invoker. You make this quite often, actually, because you open Spell Striker really often, so that's why you play him. 1 Beatrice, probably your second most powerful Xyz monster. It just helps you extend. It's a great late game card in terms of helping you get to things that you like. So yeah, just a good card. And then finally we're playing 1 Galaxy Tomahawk. This is by far your most powerful Xyz monster because it just lets you go off. If you can make this turn 1, you get 5 tokens and this guy, and you make Saryuja, and you still have things to play around with. Also, fun fact, his tokens can be tributed, so you can, if you haven't used your normal summon yet, you can still tribute over your one of the tokens for a UA if you really need to. So Tomahawk is it's just good. I can't really complain about it. So yeah, so with that, guys, let's go over and do some test hands. Alright guys, so this is the test hand section of this video. We're just going to draw a bit and let's go from there. We got a ton of spells. Oh wow, okay, so this is interesting. This sucks that we drew this because it's kind of dead in this hand, but I'm not sure what we want to do with Foolish yet. Or the regular Burial. We're going to activate Goods because we know what we're going to send with that. We're going to want to send Penalty Box. Let's see. I mean, we could make Curious, but it doesn't really benefit us too much to make Curious. I would rather just Desires right now. But, oh man. I think what's going to extend further here is going to be actually, we're going to send the Glow Bulb off of that just because I think it's going to help us extend. Usually want a monster just to help guide you with whatever play that you're going to make. It just sucks that we don't have that, so this is our graveyard over here. We're going to actually just do this. Okay, so this is our grave. This is our hand here, and we're going to activate Desires. We want to get as many spells in the grave as possible, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we are going to draw. Okay, cool. So that's actually really helpful, because now we know what we can possibly do. Let's see, we can... Okay, so we banished both of our hat triggers, which sucks, but that means we made the correct decision in sending Glow Bulb to the graveyard. So we're going to be able to do a couple things here. Let's see here. So we're going to banish the trap. We did banish the jersey, so that's unfortunate. But we can banish the penalty box and then just kind of go for our field spell because we already have Signing Deal in our hand. And we're just going to assume our opponent doesn't have any hand traps. We just kind of want to see what this deck can possibly do, and I want to show off what it can do as well. We're not really going to go into the extra deck with this hand either. So we're that. At least I don't think we are. I don't really see us doing that. Let's see here. So we don't want to activate Stadium yet. Instead, we're going to activate Signing Deal, and I think we're going to go for I think we're going to go for a rebounder. We want to get as much presence on the board as possible. So we're going to put this guy in defense here. We're going to take 1,800 damage from Signing Deal, and then send this to the grave, and then we're going to go ahead and bounce rebounder so we can make put midfielder on board. Let's see here. And we can save the one-time passcode, honestly, just because there's really no need. Or we could go into Curious. The thing is, we want to make... Oh, I know what we can do. Okay. So we are going to go in the extra deck. We're going to activate Glow Bulb, send a card from the... Oh, we got Goalkeeper, too. Oh, okay. So that's actually really cool. Let's see. There's quite a few things we could do now. Let's see. Okay, so instead of making that right away, we don't want to do that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to activate, we're going to make one-time passcode, and then we're going to get ourselves a token. Just need something. Okay, we're going to use this. It has to be someone in defense. Let's see here. We're going to use this guy. We're going to use the token so we can make our Link Spider. I almost want to play 2 Link Spider just because of how useful he is. And then we could make Curious, but it doesn't really help us. I would much rather make a couple of other things, but we can just use this to our advantage. We're going to make our Naturi Beast now. To activate Stadium, and then tribute over the spider here, and then get a search and a special summon. So this is going to be Chain Link 1, this is going to be Chain Link 2, so they can't ash this. That's just good practice. And we're going to get our search for a midfielder, so we can do a midfielder. I would prefer to do an ace, actually, just because it's going to be a little bit more useful. And then we are going to special summon. So this is actually one of those weird scenarios where Goalkeeper does actually come up. I don't really want to make a Beatrice right now because we don't really have a good target because we banished both the hat triggers, which is a shame. But we're going to bounce the rebounder back, and we're going to special summon the ace here. So this is what our field has come to. We do have a penalty box in hand, so we get 2 searches basically next turn, which is awesome because as long as Stadium sticks around, either way we're gonna get 2 searches because Ace will activate, we'll ditch the box, and we can search out another Stadium if we need to. If Stadium stays, it's even better. And then we also have Naturi Beast and Negates, so we have a couple Negates on board. Goalkeeper can prevent destruction of Ace if necessary, so this is a strong board actually for UA. So yeah, let's go into another. Okay, so I've shuffled the deck, and we're just gonna show this off. Okay, so double midfielder, terraforming, and a signing deal, this is actually a really good hand. We have one of our level 7s in hand, so we're just kind of gonna go off here. We're gonna activate terraforming, just so we can go ahead and grab the Stadium, and then we are going to. We have one too many midfielders, which sucks because one of them is dead in our hand. But again, you want to see midfielder in the deck, so it's not that bad. At least you have a second one for next turn, just in case, and you have one for discard fodder in the case that we're going to search for Ace, which we are going to do now. So signing deal, we're going to go with that, and we're going to grab our. We're just going to go off though, so this we can fix our hand regardless. Grab the Ace, take that 1500 to the face, and then we are going to swap out the Ace for our Dunker here, and then we're going to normal summon midfielder. And this is actually really important, this interaction right here, because we're going to be able to special summon one of these. Like, we're going to be able to special summon one of the midfielders back to the field later. So just bear with me. We're going to activate Stadium because we normal summoned, and we're going to grab our let's see here. Grab Goalkeeper because he's our other level 7. We can get them back later because of the fact we still have both of our rebounders in deck. So that's actually really, really important. And then we're going to bounce midfielder and special summon our blockbacker, and just in case we put him in defense mode because we don't know what our opponent's going to do. And then we're going to activate this, or we're not going to activate, we're going to special summon our lovely little rank 7 Tomahawk, and we're going to activate his effects to grab a couple tokens here. 5 of them to be exact, so I'm just going to put these at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's 5 tokens right there, and then we're going to use the Tomahawk and one of the tokens, so we're going to get rid of that and just make our Cleefort Genius because we're very smart, and then we can just use another one of these to make our Lynx Spider because we like Saryuja, and then we are going to send these to the graveyard because now we have hold on, so that's not how you do things. So we technically have 3 names on board right now, and we're going to use 2 of these to make Proxy Dragon so that we can go into Saryuja. Sorry for knocking the camera, because now we have 4 monsters with different names on the field. Remember, I have a proxy, so this blank card is a Saryuja. On Link Summon, we draw 4 cards. And then, okay, so we have a Full Spiral Goods, 1-time passcode, which isn't amazing right now. We actually don't want that. Rebounder's not that great, Ace isn't that great. We're going to want the goods, just so we can get a search off next turn if necessary, but we're going to send something to grave. So we're going to shuffle these back. Actually, we're going to actually want the rebounder later. I don't want a second midfielder in hand. So I want to discard. Yeah, I think we'll do that. That's fine. And now we can activate Saryuja's other effect to special summon the midfielder from hand. And then we can bounce midfielder, so we can summon the Ace. Then I'm going to activate goods, so we can send the penalty box to the graveyard. So that's our grave there. we drew into a revival spell. We could have just gone off more. We could have also kept the one-time passcode and kind of maybe done some things with that. But this works out, I guess. It's not the strongest board just because we don't have some more of our power cards in hand, but hey, this is just the standard Saryuja play and what you can do with the deck. So it just kind of sets up for future turns in that way. But we can next turn get a search. We have a second search here. If we really need to, we can tribute over this or this next turn to revive something. Next turn we also get a draw for another goods, which is not amazing, but it works because of the fact that we have Penalty Box and Grave. So this is actually pretty good. This is not terrible by any means. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with this in terms of where we're at. So with that, guys, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, guys, have a nice day.